I'm feeling an incredible amount of gratitude to be in this setting with this team, hearing these stories. And when I think about gratitude, I also have a tremendous amount of gratitude for Benita, our next speaker. When I think about it, I almost have to pinch yourself. We have someone who won an Olympic gold medalist, the CEO of Glorious Sports for Good, that hosted that Mandela speech, that ran USA track and field and helped win them all kinds of gold medals, and ran US Olympic Committee, ran the Women in Cable and Television, and she is at League Apps, and we get a chance to work with her every day. So I just want to say how grateful I am for you, and grateful I am for the story you're about to tell.
All right. Wrong side of the paper. It was a cold, rainy afternoon in Helsinki, Finland in 1983 at the very first ever World Championships in track and field. And I was getting ready to do what I'd done hundreds of times before, which was get down on the blocks to run the finals of the 100-meter hurdles. But this race was a little bit different. The stakes were a bit higher. This is the first time outside of the Olympic Games that all of the best athletes in the world in track and field had gathered together for a meet. I won the Pan American Games a little bit earlier, but that was the Pan Pacific region or whatever, and I'd gone to the World University Games and lots of international competitions, but this is the biggest of it all, of them all at that point in time. And so I'd done what I thought about a lot of times when I was getting ready to compete in a world-class competition, and I was really hoping I'd run fast, run a good time, run a personal best, and really hoping my main goal was to make the final of this competition. And after making it through the heats and the quarterfinals and the semifinals, I actually did reach that wonderful goal of making the finals of the very first ever 100-meter hurdles race at the World Championships. But I set that goal, and that's about all I accomplished, because I got to the final and I got 8th place out of 8 competitors, better known as dead last. But consolation prize is that I was the 8th fastest hurdler in the world at that time. After the race, I went to sit down and put my sweats back on. Like I said, it's cold and raining outside. And one of my fiercest competitors who just beat me, Shirley Strong from the UK, came and sat right next down to me, and she was putting her sweats back on too, and she took out a pack of cigarettes and started smoking. And I was just furious. I just thought to myself, this woman just smoked me on the track. And now she's smoking a cigarette right in front of me, and I'm gagging, smelling her smoke, sitting next to her after seeing her smoke on the track. And I was pissed off, and I said to myself, I will never let Shirley Strong beat me again. About a year later, I just made my second Olympic team, and I was training at my alma mater, University of Tennessee, at the track. It was hot, summer, July day. And after practice, we were all sitting out on the track, just shooting the breeze. And I started envisioning this race that I was preparing to race at the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. And while I was sitting there envisioning this race, I was thinking, again, those same thoughts. I hope I run fast. I hope I make it to the final. I hope I set a personal record. And all of a sudden, I had this epiphany. Why not me? Why am I always thinking about somebody else winning the race, someone else getting on the victory stand, someone else getting to take the victory lap and getting on the victory stand and getting the gold medal? Why am I thinking about somebody else? Why not me? I'm as good as they are. I train as hard as they do. In fact, I was faster than any other hurdler in the world in the flat 100 meters. Nobody could beat me. And I just thought to myself, I deserve this as much as they do. Why not me? The same thoughts ran through my head again and again. Why not me? Why not me? And I'm at the Coliseum. It's 1984. It's the race I've been waiting for since I made my first Olympic team at 18 years old. I was a freshman at the University of Tennessee, and unfortunately, the president, then President Carter, decided that we were going to boycott the 1980 Olympic Games in Moscow. And so I didn't get to run in my first Olympic team. So I've been waiting for 4 years for this opportunity to compete at the Olympic Games. With Why Not Me running over and over and over in my head, I won my race in the heats, I won my race in the quarterfinals, I won my race, that was the previous day, and then that day I had won my race in the semifinals. I had the fastest time going into the finals. And after I finished that semifinal race, the crowd was cheering, the largely American crowd in Los Angeles, and they were saying, USA, 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 as I was getting my sweats to go back off the track. And I thought to myself, I have to hear that again. I gotta win this race so I can hear them cheer for me all over again. So I leave the track, and you have to go back through the tunnel up to the warm-up track. And as I'm making my way up, I'm going to see my coach, and my chiropractor, and my massage therapist. I want to get tuned up for this race that's going to happen in another hour and a half, the final. And on my way up there, I hear this voice say to me, Benita, good race. And I looked over, and it was Shirley Strong, who had just run the second fastest time, because I had the fastest time going in the final. And what was she doing? Smoking a cigarette! In between the semis and the finals, she's smoking a cigarette. And I thought to myself, thank God she reminded me of that vow I'd taken a year before. So the group of us, all the finalists, we have to leave the warm-up track. We make this long trip down the dark tunnel underneath the LA Coliseum. And as you get to the edge of the tunnel, the bright light of the stadium is there, and 90,000 people, screaming, mostly American fans. And really, the only thing I could really hear, honestly, was my heart beating. And it seemingly was saying to me, why not me, why not me, why not me, why not me, beating out of my chest. I think the competitors didn't really know this, but I had already claimed that gold medal. The race was already run in my mind. It was just a matter of the 12.84 seconds between me and the finish line. It was a done deal. The crowd starts to hush when the starter says, on your marks, set, pow! I charged out of the blocks. I go over the first hurdle, the second hurdle, the third hurdle, the fourth hurdle. I'm picking off my competitors one by one. I get about the seventh hurdle, and out of the corner of my eye, I could see one remaining competitor's nagging person who wasn't Shirley Strong. Just couldn't shake her for some reason. But I said, not today, Shirley. And somehow I felt like God put wings on my feet, and I charged forward, thrust myself over those last three hurdles, and crossed the finish line 0.04 of a second ahead of Shirley Strong to win the gold medal. I got to take that victory lap around the track that I'd envisioned so many times in my mind over the past 4 weeks when I finally decided that that gold medal was mine. I got to go around the first turn, and my parents were in the stands at the top of the backstretch, and I went and hugged my mom and dad and my coaches and my sister and aunt and uncle, and one of the fans thrust an American flag into my hand, so I got to carry the American flag over the rest of the victory lap, and it seemed like the crowd was cheering in waves. As I get to a certain section of the stadium, that section would start, cheering widely and calling my name and asking for autographs. It was the coolest, awesomest thing in the whole entire world. 90,000 people. And I finally make my way around, and it's time for the victory ceremony, and I'm standing on the victory stand. The gold medal's around my neck, and the crowd is hushed listening to the national anthem. I'm singing along, tears welling up in my eyes, and it was an amazing moment. From last place in Helsinki to first place at the LA Games. Why not me? Or better yet, why not you? Thank you.
here? Why not me? It's I don't know, everyone else got chills trying to imagine being on the podium, hearing the national anthem representing your country. That was so powerfully told.